Hare Krishna, good morning, afternoon, whenever you're watching. So it's a bit chilly. It's been chilly, but this morning it's getting really chilly. So we're here next to the Google head office and down near King's Cross.
Yeah.
Nice little area they have. So.
But now we're going to read the real Google.
Yes, that's right.
So it's Canto 2, Chapter 4, Text 23. The chapter is the process of creation.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sounds like the birds.
Text 23. May the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who enlivens the materially created bodies of the elements by lying down within the universe, and who in his Purusha incarnation causes the living being to be subjected to the 16 divisions of material modes, which are his generator, be pleased to decorate my statements. As a fully dependent devotee, Bhaktivedanta Swami, unlike a mundane man who is proud of his own capability, invokes the pleasure of the personality of Godhead, so that his statements may be successful and be appreciated by the hearers. The devotee always thinks of himself as instrumental for anything successfully carried out, and he declines to take credit for anything done by himself. The godless atheist wants to take all credit for activities, not knowing that even a blade of grass cannot move without the sanction of the Supreme Spirit, the personality of Godhead. Sukadeva Goswami therefore wants to move by the direction of the Supreme Lord who inspired Brahma to speak the Vedic truth. The truths described in the Vedic literatures are not theories of mundane imagination, nor are they fictitious, as the less intelligent class of men sometimes think. The Vedic truths are all perfect descriptions of the factual truth without any mistake or illusion. Sukadeva Goswami wants to present the truths of creation not as a metaphysical theory or philosophical speculation, but as the actual facts and figures of the subject, since he would be dictated to by the Lord exactly in the same manner as Brahmaji was inspired. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita 15:15, the Lord is himself the father of the Vedanta knowledge, and it is he only who knows the factual purport of the Vedanta philosophy. So there is no greater truth than the principles of religion mentioned in the Vedas. Such Vedic knowledge or religion is disseminated by authorities like Sukadeva Swami, because he is a humble devotional servant of the Lord, who has no desire to become the self-appointed interpreter without any authority. That is the way of explaining the Vedic knowledge, technically known as a parampara system or descending process.
The intelligent man can see without mistake that any material creation, whether one's own body or fruit or flower, cannot beautifully grow up without the spiritual touch. The greatest intelligent man of the world or the greatest man of science can present everything very beautifully only insofar as the spirit life is there, or insomuch as the spiritual touch is there. Therefore, the source of all truths is the Supreme Spirit, and not gross matter, as wrongly conceived by the gross materialist. We get information from the Vedic literature that the Lord himself first entered the vacuum of the material universe, and thus all things gradually developed one after another. Similarly, the Lord is situated as localized Paramatma in every individual being. Hence, everything is done by him very beautifully. The 16 principal creative elements, namely earth, water, fire, air, sky, the 11 sense organs, first developed from the Lord himself and were thereby shared by the living entities. Thus, the material elements, bless you again, were created for the enjoyment of the living entities. The beautiful arrangement behind all material manifestations is therefore made possible by the energy of the Lord, and the individual living entity can only pray to the Lord to understand it properly. Since the Lord is a supreme entity, different from Shukadeva Goswami, the prayer can be offered to him. Sorry, say that again. Since the Lord is a supreme entity, different from Shukadeva Goswami, the prayer can be offered to him, meaning the Lord. The Lord helps the living entity to enjoy material creation, but he is aloof from such false enjoyment. Shukadeva prays for the mercy of the Lord, not only for being helped personally in presenting the truth, but also for helping others to whom he would like to speak. Nice last sentence.
Yeah.
That sums up kind of the whole mood, that Shukadeva Goswami is praying for the mercy of the Lord so that he can be a conduit for repeating this knowledge in the same way that it was given to Lord Brahma, and Lord Brahma then repeated it to Narada and other personalities. So he's praying to be helped personally in presenting the truth, but also to be able to help others to whom he would like to speak. So that's wonderful. So it's, of course, we can pray to the Lord for things, but those things have to be, or it's best if those things are for engaging in devotional service. So like that. Any thoughts?
Yeah, it's true.
Well, that was deep. Thank you. Thinks you got a little nervous because some people standing by watching, huh?
No, it's true.
Okay, sure.
Maybe I succinct.
Okay. So, text 24. Was I reading last?
Yeah, I offer
Okay.
my respectful obeisances unto Srila Vyasadeva, the incarnation of Vasudeva, who compiled the Vedic scriptures. The pure devotees drink up the nectarian transcendental knowledge dripping from the lotus-like mouth of the Lord. Purport. In pursuance of the specific utterance dasi, for the compiler of the system of transcendental knowledge, Srila Sridhar Swami has commented that the respectful obeisances are offered to Srila Vyasadeva, who is the incarnation of Vasudeva. Srila Jiva Goswami has agreed to this, but Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has made a further advance, namely that the nectar from the mouth of Lord Krishna is transferred to his different consorts, and thus they learn the finer arts of music, dance, dressing, decorations, and all such things which are relished by the Lord. Such music, dance, and decorations enjoyed by the Lord are certainly not anything mundane, because the Lord is addressed in the very beginning as para, transcendental. This transcendental knowledge is unknown to the forgetful conditioned souls. Srila Vyasadeva, who is the incarnation of the Lord, thus compiled the Vedic literatures to revive the lost memory of the conditioned souls about the eternal relation with the Lord. One should therefore try to understand the Vedic scriptures, or the nectar transferred by the Lord to his consorts in the conjugal humor from the lotus-like mouth of Vyasadeva or Sukadeva Goswami, or Prabhupada. By gradual development of transcendental knowledge, one can rise to the stage of the transcendental arts of music and dance displayed by the Lord in his Rasa Lila. Without having the Vedic knowledge, one can hardly understand the transcendental nature of the Lord's Rasa dance and music. The pure devotees of the Lord, however, can equally relish the nectar in the form of the profound philosophical discourses and in the form of kissing by the Lord in the Rasa dance, as there is no mundane distinction between the two.
Interesting. So again, the last sentence for me, that however, we can equally relish the nectar in the form of the profound philosophical discourses, or in the form of kissing by the Lord in the Ras dance, as there is no mundane distinction between the two. So it's interesting here that how Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is giving a very, very extended, sorry, lots of messages, very extended or extensive purport as given as a commentary. Sorry, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is giving a kind of rasic perspective on this statement, and Srila Prabhupada is explaining it to us. So, yeah, very powerful. Okay, text 25. My dear king, Brahma, the firstborn, on being questioned by Narada, exactly apprised him on this subject, as it had been directly spoken by the Lord to his own son, who was impregnated with Vedic knowledge from his very birth. Purport. As soon as Brahma was born of the abdominal lotus petals of Vishnu, he was impregnated with Vedic knowledge, and therefore he is known as Vedagarbha, or Vedantis from the embryo. Without Vedic knowledge or perfect infallible knowledge, no one can create anything. All scientific knowledge and perfect knowledge are Vedic. One can get all types of information from the Vedas, and as such, Brahma was impregnated with all perfect knowledge so that it was possible for him to create. Thus, Brahma knew the perfect description of creation, as it was exactly apprised to him by the Supreme Lord, Hari. Brahma, on being questioned by Narada, told Narada exactly what he had heard directly from the Lord. Narada again told exactly the same thing to Vyas, and Vyas also told Shukadev exactly what he had heard from Narada. And Shukadev was going to repeat the same statements as he had heard them from Vyas. That is the way of Vedic understanding. The language of the Vedas can be revealed only by the above-mentioned disciplic succession and not otherwise.
There is no use in theories. Knowledge must be factual. There are many things that are complicated and one cannot understand them unless they are explained by one who knows. The Vedic knowledge is also very difficult to know and must be learned by the above-mentioned system. Otherwise, it is not at all understood.
Shukadeva Goswami therefore prayed for the mercy of the Lord so that he might be able to repeat the very same message that was spoken directly by the Lord to Brahma, or that was directly spoken by Brahma to Narada. Therefore, the statements of creation explained by Shukadeva Goswami are not at all, as the mundaners suggest, theoretical, but are perfectly correct. One who hears these messages and tries to assimilate them gets perfect information of the material creation. Well, there you go. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the second canto, 4th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Process of Creation. So, this knowledge that we're about to hear is being relayed by Shukadeva Goswami. It's being confirmed that it's being relayed, I would say 2 important things. One is that it's being relayed through the line of disciplic succession, of teacher to student. And the second thing is the mood in which he has in order to relay it. He's not trying to become the supreme person who's understood everything and the person who gets all the credit. He's clearly accepting that he just wants to pass down the message as it's been passed down for generations from the Lord himself, and therefore he begs for the mercy of the Lord to communicate. And he takes shelter of Vyasadeva, and he takes shelter of Lord Brahma. So in this way, the mood in which he's trying to pass the message is vitally important. So it's in parampara and with the mood, so like that. Those are my reflections. What are your thoughts?
Yes. Putting a lot of stress on not speculating or dividing between what is important and isn't important in the Vedas, or like what we're reading, because sometimes people skip over, as we know, as we're coming into also quite complicated stuff as we read the beginning parts and get to the real part or the juicy part. So it's kind of like preempting the sincere, serious seek of knowledge that there is a process to understand this, which means that when you get to that stage, you could open the Bhagavatam anywhere and be relishing and seeing Krishna. Or not like, oh, we're at that bit now. Oh, okay, I don't want to go to that class. Oh, they're reading from that bit. Because it's all Krishna, the whole Bhagavatam. So.
Yeah. Prabhupada said that the Bhagavatam is like sugar cane. You know, it's sweet wherever you bite into it. But because we're still a bit jaundiced, we may not get that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's start chapter 5.
Okay, chapter 5 is called The Cause of All Causes.
Sarva Karana Karanam.
So, text 1, Sri Narada Muni asks Brahmaji.
So, at the end of the last chapter, it was discussed that Narada Muni asked Brahmaji about creation. And that is what Shukadeva Goswami is going to relay. So now they're just right into that pastime. So.
Yeah, it's like a plot twist within a plot. If you know what I mean. It started dramatic with Shringi, is it? With the curse. Parikshit Maharaj just got 7 days to live, and then it would just, it's like a movie, it's just on so many levels. So now we're within this plot. If you imagine it like that. So Sri Narada Muni asks Brahmaji, O chief amongst the demigods, how, O firstborn living entity, I beg to offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Please tell me that transcendental knowledge which specifically directs one to the truth of the individual soul and the super soul. Purport. Perfection of the Parampara system, or the path of disciplic succession, is further confirmed. In the previous chapter, it has been established that Brahmaji, the first-born living entity, received knowledge directly from the Supreme Lord, and the same knowledge was imparted to Narada, the next disciple. Narada asked to receive the knowledge, and Brahmaji imparted it upon being asked. Therefore, asking for transcendental knowledge from the right person and receiving it properly is the regulation of the disciplic succession. This process is recommended in the Bhagavad Gita 4.2. The inquisitive student must approach qualified spiritual master to receive transcendental knowledge by surrender, submissive inquiries and service. Knowledge received by submissive inquiries and service is more effective than knowledge received in exchange for money. A spiritual master in the line of disciplic succession from Brahma and Narada has no demand for dollars and cents. A bona fide student has to satisfy him by sincere service to obtain knowledge of the relation and nature of the individual soul and the super soul.
So, better to have submissive inquiry and learn that way than to pay a lot of money and try to learn. That's what I understood from that.
Because your learning would be motivated in those things as well. I'm paying this and I want this as a result. Regardless of if I'm approaching you humbly and have the qualifications, you better give me, the end result better be this.
Yeah, I mean, either way is motivated. Can't escape motivation. It's just making sure that it's correct motivation, I guess, right?
Yes.
My dear Father, please, so remember Narada Muni is the son of Brahma, so he's saying, my dear Father, please describe factually the symptoms of this manifest world. What is its background? How is it created? How is it conserved? And under whose control is all this being done? Purport. The inquiries by Narada Muni on the basis of factual cause and effect appear reasonable, very reasonable. The atheists, however, put forward many self-made theories without any touch of cause and effect. The manifested world, as well as the spirit soul, is still unexplained by the godless atheists, though they're through the medium of experimental knowledge, although they have put forward many theories manufactured by their fertile brains. Contrary to such mental speculative theories of creation, however, Narada Muni wanted to know all the facts of creation in truth and not by theories.
Transcendental knowledge regarding the soul and the supersoul includes knowledge of the phenomenal world and the basis of its creation. In the phenomenal world, three things are factually observed by any intelligent man: the living beings, the manifest world, and the ultimate control over them. The intelligent man can see that neither the living entity nor the phenomenal world are creations of chance. The symmetry of creation and its regulative actions and reactions suggests the plan of an intelligent brain behind them. And by genuine inquiry, one may find out the ultimate cause with the help of one who knows them factually.
So, Narada Muni is making some serious inquiries here, but he's making them to the right person. You know, he's asking someone who knows, who's heard. My dear Father, all this is known to you scientifically because whatever was created in the past, whatever will be created in the future, or whatever is being created at the present, as well as everything within the universe, is within your grip, just like a walnut. Walnut. Let's see if that's explained. Brahma is the direct creator of the manifested universe and everything within the universe. He therefore knows what happened in the past and what will happen in the future and what is happening at present. Three principal items, namely the living being, the phenomenal world, and the controller, are all in continuous action, past, present, and future. And the direct manager is supposed to know everything of such actions and reactions, as one knows about a walnut without the grip of one. As one knows about a walnut within the grip of one's palm. The direct manufacturer of a particular thing is supposed to know how he learned the art of manufacturing, where he got the ingredients, how he set it up, and how the products in the manufacturing process are being turned out. Because Brahma is the firstborn living being, naturally he is supposed to know everything about creative functions. So what did you get from that about the walnut? Anything stood out?
Well, I guess what it was saying was you can hold a walnut within your hand. You can see how the walnut is shaped, how it looks, how it can be cracked open, how it works, and it's in your control, it's in your grip. In the same way that Brahma is the one who's like secondary control creator engineer, because he was deputized to create the material world. So it's within his grasp, this is within his control, and he knows how it all works, all the nooks and crannies and all that of the material world.
Just wonder why they used the walnut. But anyway.
It must have been the thing at the time. Like quinoa and all that is famous now, isn't it?
Next text.
But one thing I want to say is that because it says the direct manufacturer of a particular thing is supposed to know how it's set up, you know, how you created it. Like if you make a cake, someone says, "Oh, it's really nice. How do you make that?" Yeah. And then you tell them, put flour, put sugar, put this, blah, blah. But it's interesting that scientists who do not believe in God or the Supreme Controller, they use all the ingredients available and try to explain things away, but they can't explain the origin of what all the principles that they use. So it doesn't make sense.
Oh, all the origins of the materials that they use.
Yeah, they'll use the materials provided by God to debunk God. It don't exist. What are you talking about? There's no nature material. There's no this. But you didn't. How did you get those tools?
Where do they come from? Oh.
So you use the tools provided by God, and you look like a kid that sort of says, "I want my independence, Dad," and you're like a 5-year-old kid that says, "What are you talking about? You 5-year-old kid, I feed you, clothe you, go to your bedroom, be quiet." You know what I mean? Tell a kid trying to assert the independence under the father's roof. Yes, I don't get it.
Okay, so we'll read this last one, 5:4.
Not 5-4, just 4.
Okay. Chapter 5, text 4. It's your turn, I think.
Is it?
I think so, yeah. I think I read this. Or isn't it? Is it?
Yeah, it is. My dear Father, what is the source of your knowledge? Under whose protection are you standing? And under whom are you working? What is your real position? Do you alone create all entities with material elements by your personal energy? It was known to Sri Narada Muni that Lord Brahma attained creative energy by undergoing severe austerities. As such, he could understand that there was someone else superior to Brahmaji who invested Brahma with the power of creation. Therefore, he asked all the above questions. Discoveries of progressive scientific achievements are therefore not independent. The scientist has to attain the knowledge of a thing already existing by means of the wonderful brain made by someone else. Go. A scientist can work with the help of such an awarded brain, but it is not possible for the scientist to create his own or similar brain. We're brainless. Therefore, no one is independent in the matter of any creation, nor is such creation automatic. I don't know what to say.
Well, there you have it, and there you are, and I think that says it all.
Yeah.
No, 5's not so long.
Okay.
Okay, so text 5. As a spider very easily creates the network of its cobweb and manifests its power of creation without being defeated by others, so also you yourself are, by employment of your self-sufficient energy, create without any other's help. Purport. The best example of self-sufficiency is the sun. The sun does not require to be illuminated by any other body. Rather, it is the sun which helps all the illuminating agents. For in the presence of the sun, no other illuminating agent becomes prominent. Narada compared the position of Brahma to the self-sufficiency of the spider, who creates its own field of activities without any other's help by employment of its own energetic creation of saliva. So I guess just like the spider spins the web and creates his own little world and wraps it up in the same way, then Narada is comparing Brahma to that same sort of person, the original creator. Okay. Well, thank you all very much for tuning in. Hopefully you're relishing this readings of Srimad Bhagavatam, and please, we want to just to inspire everyone to please read Srila Prabhupada's books.
Even if it's a verse or a page a day, it makes a difference.
Makes a huge
It
difference.
keeps the material doctor away.
Material doctor?
Well, like an apple a day keeps the doctor away. So.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Material walnut. A walnut a day.
Yes.
Okay, thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.